Okay.
Hello,
Good
good morning.
morning. Good morning, everybody. And I'd like to welcome you all in this closing workshop. We have some new participants here as well. And let me highlight Erika, who is from Debrecen. Debrecen has quite a trend, a development trend here in Hungary. So it's an honor that you joined us for this international project. And we have Attila Polák, who is from our partner, Pontibus EGTC, which is a territorial cooperation of Nitravský kraj in Slovakia and Pest County in Hungary. And we also welcome the colleagues from the local government of Érd. Érd is the city. The number of inhabitants is above around 70,000 in the agglomeration of the Budapest metropolitan area. So, as usual, we will hear today from renowned experts from the Visegrad countries some good examples as regards urban resiliency. In this project, we identified 5 pillars of urban resiliency: climate change, pandemic, war, and migration. And the 5th one is the other. It's a miscellaneous category. In this project, based on these workshops and the National Best Practices compilation, we will create an e-learning material available free of charge in 5 languages about urban resiliency. The languages will be Hungarian, Slovakian, Czech, Polish, and English. And this e-learning course will have a pilot training according to our plans in September. And after that, we will make it available free of charge and publicly for everybody here in the V4 countries, because of course this project is financed by the Visegrad Fund. I'm the president of this project applicant, who is now the beneficiary in this project called the Urban Development Association. And I will be the master of ceremony today, as usual. Our first presenter is our friend Marcel Pichar from the University of Hradec Králové, the Czech Republic. And I ask you, Marcel, to give us your presentation about ecological villages or ecological village in Hostetin. I'm sorry, I always have trouble to pronounce the name of the settlements. So, Marcel, I hope, as always, I can learn from you today. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'm very sorry for my strange voice these days, as I'm suffering from some mild infection. I'm going to talk about a very small village, Hostetin, which is on the border with Slovakia. It's in the White Carpathians. And when I was preparing this talk, I was thinking that urban resilience is not only related with capital cities and large cities, but it can also be found in very small urban settlements. And one of the examples is this super small village Hostetin, which is a village in the Zlín region. As I say, it's in the White Carpathians, which is a small mountain range on the border with Slovakia. It only has 217 inhabitants. And there is one super fascinating thing, that this very small village, you can see it in the picture, has a very significant number of environmental and well-functioning projects. They started with these projects more than 20 years, nearly 30 years ago, and the idea is to use local resources and renewable energy. This village has been awarded an Energy Globe Award, which is a global award for energy or for sustainable projects related to conserving natural resources or using renewable energy, and a national award, which is like a clone of this Energy Globe Award. National award was won by the municipality of Hostětín in 2007 and 2020. There were some other awards. Hostětín was awarded in 2009. It was Czech Solar Award. In 2009 again, it was the Village of the Year. In 2012, it was awarded the Climate Star, and 2023, it was the Green Municipality of the Year. And when you just see the list of the awards, do not forget that the village has only 200 plus inhabitants. It's extremely small. It looks as if I'm talking about Prague now, but no, I'm talking about a very small urban settlement. What are the projects? Why this village was awarded so many awards already? The first one, which was built in 2000, is a biomass heating plant. It uses wooden chips from the local forests, and the heat is used by 80% of households in the village, or basically 200 houses or 150 houses are using the energy from the biomass heating plant. It saves approximately 1,100 tons of CO2 emissions every year, and it produces 3,500 gigajoules of heat per season. They do not need, I mean, the village does not need to pay for coal or gas. Not only it is ecological, but it's also cost efficient, and it saves a lot of money in this small village. These are the pictures from the biomass heating plant, just to have some idea what it looks like. Another project is the environmentally friendly public lighting, which was renovated because originally they had a standard public lighting, but it was renovated in 2006. And they use fully shielded lamps with high efficiency sodium bulbs or light bulbs, and they claim that they are able to reduce electricity consumption by at least a quarter. And there is another example how large corporations could be involved. In one of my previous presentations, I was talking about the fact that urban resilience is not only about NGOs, but it can also be related to large corporations. In this case, all lamps were donated by Philips Lighting Company, a famous European company that produces light bulbs, and they were donated for free. Another example is a passive house, Veronica. It was the first building, like passive house building in the Czech Republic. It was built in 2006. These are, you can see that there are a few parameters that are pertinent to label any building to be a passive house. It must have a thick layer of thermal insulation. It must be airtight. And the energy consumption must be 7 to 10 times lower than in conventional buildings. In this passive house, Veronica, they have used various technologies, again, very ecological technologies like mineral wool and straw insulation. Which means that the house is super insulated. For ventilation, they use from outgoing air. They also use solar water heating, Naturally, they use heating from the municipal biomass heating plant I was talking about a few minutes ago. They use rainwater harvesting, which means they use all rainwater for flushing toilet and all the things that are needed related to running the house. They also implemented a green roof. Again, I talked about green roofs earlier in my first or second presentation, and they used to build this house. They used ecological building materials such as clay and natural bricks. Another project in this village is a photovoltaic power station, or power stations, because many houses, actually 9 houses, have these solar panels. There is also a large scale panel on the Veronica Center and on the organic cider house. And these power stations or power plants, despite the fact that they are super small, they save about 100 tons of CO2 per year. Another project related to this village is a root water cleaning plant. I like this idea very much. It's actually an artificial wetland with very common and ordinary wetland plants, and the roots of the plants and the bacteria that are connected to these plants are actually a very natural biological way how to decompose, how to break down organic waste from toilets. They also have an educational natural garden and an orchard. Their idea is to involve the public in the process of natural gardening. They want to support or extend biodiversity by building lizard houses, bird nesting boxes, insect houses, like these hotels for beetles. Beekeeping is promoted by introducing several beehives, and this garden has been certified as an educational natural garden in 2013. These are my resources. I'm very sorry for my super short talk, but my voice is really terrible and I can barely talk. I'm very sorry about that, and hopefully you could understand and hear properly. Thank you very much.
Marcel, thank you too, and please don't apologize, because you did great, as always. I wish you get well soon. And I will have some questions, as usual, but only in the Q&A session. I found this village very interesting, and I think it rhymes well with another presentation at the end of our workshop by Christian. Now, I would like to turn to the excellent researcher Eva from Poland, from the Polish Academy of Sciences, to give your presentation. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't try to pronounce the title of the presentation because there are some Polish names in it. And I'm afraid that I would mess up. So it's a river cleanup. We can tell that. Eva, could you please share your screen?
Okay, I just have to. Okay, I'm sharing it. Okay, is everything okay? Yeah, you can hear me.
Well, yes.
See,
Now we can see and hear.
To be shared. Yes. Okay, well, that was really impressive. The small village with so many projects. I'm really impressed by that. I must say myself. Congratulations, in fact. Yes. The final project from our country that I want to present is also a climate change project. But I would say it's interdisciplinary because it pertains both to sustainable development or environmental protection and education. I called it Narev River Cleanup in the city of Łomża. And I'm going to talk about the 2016 edition of the project, which was co-organized by a foundation that I have the pleasure to cooperate with in the frame of another project, the Foundation for the Development of Polish Agriculture, in the frame of a series of projects which is called Local Ecological Civic Initiatives. It's not moving somehow. I don't know what's happening here.
Try to click on the picture. It usually helps.
Okay. Just there has been a small delay. Okay, so as I said, the basic pillar, I would place the project in the pillar of climate change, but as I said, it pertains both to environmental sustainability and education. The place of the best practice is the city of Łomża, which is a approximately 12,000 inhabitants, city of 12,000 inhabitants. The initiative is coordinated and has been since 2006 by a scuba diving club from Łomża, the so-called Podwodny Jeleń, which could be translated as underwater deer. And as I said, this specific edition was co-organized by that foundation. It has various sources of funding, financing. The key one is the National Fund for Environmental Protection and Water Management, but also own sources of the foundation, private companies, and from the beginning also the sources of these resources of the scuba diving club in Łomża. And my information, my data about this initiative were collected from all kinds of open access sources, but I also, due to my contacts with the organizers, I was able to talk to them and also get some additional insight. Well, as you see here above, there's a motto which says the problem of waste doesn't disappear. It's only hidden under the water, meaning that things that are not visible, it doesn't mean that things that are not visible do not exist. And I think this is very important. Just a little bit background information here on the left. You can see you can see some pictures from the Facebook page of the foundation, presenting that edition that is, as you see, 2016. This is an announcement saying that the action will take place, will be taken. Maybe 2 words about the foundation. Its mission. It was founded in 1988. And its mission is to support sustainable rural development, but also peri-urban and suburban, and in particular, entrepreneurship and creating non-agricultural jobs for vulnerable resident groups. That is for the elderly, women, young people, the unemployed. And it ensures, it tries to ensure equal opportunities, and it works through microloan programs, investment grants, but also educational activities. And this program was one of the educational activities as well. And here on the right-hand side, you can see a small map where the initiative is placed. The city of Łomża as I said, is a middle-sized city in northeastern Poland. And the initiative specifically concerns the urban beach, that is the beach in the city, and its surroundings, as well as the bottom of the river below the so-called Hubala Bridge. What's interesting, well, this is one of the longest rivers. The Narew is one of the longest rivers in Poland. It originates in Belarus, and it is a lowland river forming extensive valleys, peat bogs and marshes. It belongs to so-called anastomosing rivers, meaning it flows through numerous branching and connecting channels. And the most beautiful stretches of the valley are protected in the Narew National Park. Its waters are classified as second and third water purity classes, and significant sections are protected in national parks and also by the Natura 2000 areas. Meaning it serves as a sanctuary for fauna and flora, associated with aquatic marsh environments. So this is a very precious, a very valuable water that is flowing water. It's important to stress that the project is interdisciplinary because on the one hand, it's about cleaning the river itself. So cleaning it from debris that accumulates on the bottom, but it's also, and I would say maybe even more, about raising awareness among residents about the pollution problems, and also sensitizing, as I call it here, especially those residents who contribute to contaminating the water with predominantly solid objects that stay for a long time, degrade the environment, destruct the flora and the fauna. Well, a little bit information about the project itself. It's for the residents predominantly, but also for visitors, tourists, and for the environment. And it's about cleaning the river to sustain its natural beauty and to make the area safe and to prepare the urban beach for the summer season. Well, the procedure is about cleaning up the debris under the water, that is under the bridge, on the urban beach, also the parking lot, by using specialized equipment. And of course, this specialized equipment has to be purchased somehow. So in 2016, here you can see some pictures on the left-hand side, an impressive number of 21 divers from the scuba diving club, but also some other diving clubs with which this diving club cooperates on a daily basis, took part, and thanks to the funds, they bought a pontoon boat with an engine and some other equipment, and cleaned the beach, cleaned the urban beach, removed the debris from all kinds of dangerous objects, and prepared the beach to make it safe for the season. A very important aspect of education is, well, first of all, the information about the action itself. So it was promoted by the local media and also the local press. What's interesting, the participants, the residents also took part in the action itself. So they cleaned the river. They helped in the activities that they were able to help in. And there were also, after the action, there were some social integration activities, including a barbecue and some games for example, a raffle for small gadgets provided by sponsors. The main prize was a diving computer, very interesting equipment. Small gifts were prepared for children, and thanks to the generosity of sponsors, you can also see there were some prizes, but there were also T-shirts for every participant with the logo underwater deer, but also the sponsor, that is a company, Sonorol, VFDPA, and with the inscription, local ecological civic initiatives together for the environment. Well, here you see some of the trophies, that is the treasures that were collected. Here's the biggest one on the left-hand side, part of a metal plate from under the bridge, but also, of course, other objects like glass bottles, rusty cans, and all this kind of debris, which could have been very, very dangerous for the users. Now, of course, like every action, it has some is connected to various challenges and limitations. In this case, I divided this into three groups. Well, one thing is are the conditions, the equipment, the approach. This is a flowing water, which of course it's incredibly important that no inexperienced users or groups take part in such actions. There are, of course, legal issues to be considered. For example, these are public waters, so there are various law acts related to the use and to operating within such waters. And the third issue is that this is a landscape or part of a landscape park. So basically protected areas are also to be treated, and all kinds of actions in protected areas also have to be considered as special or different. So these issues have to be taken in consideration. The excellence of the project, I would say that it might not be strictly innovative, but what's important to stress is that it's a cyclical project. It dates back to 2006, and the actions are taken to this very day. So one time yearly in the beginning of summer in June. The Underwater Deer Scuba Diving Club continues to work, cooperating with various other companies and organizations. It can be easily adapted to other settlements. So this is Łomża is a middle-sized city. I can see this in big cities, in urban environments, in rural environments, anywhere in the world. But of course, some technical adjustments may be needed due to maybe different climatic conditions. And there might be some organizational challenges, of course, related to the presence of different species, different fauna and flora, weather conditions, physical, geographical factors, hydrological factors. And these might require, of course, technical adjustments. And here, the last slide, I called it Saved and Continued, just to show you that the Scuba Diving Club is continuing the action. Here is a post from 2023, that is the most current one. Also some announcement about cleaning the river, and on the right-hand side you can see from the Facebook page of the or from the website, I remember now, of the foundation, that the project Sprzątanie Narwy in Polish, Narwy River Cleanup, is one of these projects which belongs to the Ceures educational, civic educational projects together for the environment. That would be all when pictures are concerned, but I would say that returning to this excellence issue, I would say that one of the most important things is the educational aspect that should be focused on here, and the involvement of the local community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eva. It's an interesting project because, as you know, last week we organized a citizens' assembly in Szeged, in Hungary, with the leadership of our friend Gyula here. And I think river pollution is a major issue for Szeged as well. And I could imagine a scuba diving club there also. Gyula, so please take up some diving lessons. Okay, well, we travel further now to Slovakia, and our next presenter is Valeria from our respected partner, Forum Regional Development Center, which is an NGO based in Samorin, or Somoria in Hungarian. And the title of the presentation is Resistant Suburbs Taking Climate Actions. Valeria, please share your screen and tell us about your experiences.
See my screen. Is everything okay? Do you see the screen? Okay. So my case study is about a project which is focusing on climate change, and it was implemented in a real urban area, which is a densely populated part of the town. It is actually a suburb. The project itself was very comprehensive. It lasted for 5 years with 5 partners from Slovakia. And whoever would like to Google search this project, the acronym was Life Deliver. It was financed by the Life program, and it ran like the Deliver project. It was actually about how to make the suburbs more resistant to climate change, because you all know that in cities the effect of climate change will probably be worse than in the countryside, because there are more paved surfaces and they accumulate heat and don't allow the water to flow in the ground. So these all just enhance the negative effects of climate change. So this project was focused on the suburbs, on especially one respective suburb in Bratislava, which was a housing estate of Dlhé Diely. I chose this project well, first because of the topic climate change, and secondly because the suburb is something, is a kind of structure that connects us in the V4 group, because in all countries of the V4 we have a similar historical heritage, and in the years from the 50s, 60s, 70s of the last century, building suburbs was the most universal type of settlement building or urban development. So we all have these suburbs or these structures in our countries. So I thought that it will be interesting also from this point of view. The objectives of the project were a little bit more comprehensive, but I tried to fix it in 3 parts I would like to talk about. I will shortly mention the point 1 and 3 and will talk more about point 2. So the first objective was creating a climate action plan of the city district, which was accompanied by surveys towards the inhabitants and participation meetings. This is something I think that is going on in many other cities, so I wouldn't really like to talk about this. But the second objective was that caught my attention, and during this project, the participants created a tool that was able to kind of evaluate how resistant a building or a city part is to climate change. And so this way they could identify a kind of baseline in the beginning of the project, and look point 3, by implementing some adaptation and mitigation activities, they could monitor the progress for the end of the project. This tool was called the ClimaScan. You can also Google search by ClimaScan, you will find it. It is an online tool, actually. It's available on the internet, but requires registration. And it contains dozens of indicators, which were designed by professionals, and I read that it was tested not only in Slovakia, in different cities of Slovakia, for example, in Hlohovec and Prešov and Košice too, but in the Czech Republic. So maybe Marcel knows something in ClimaScan from the Czech Republic. If I remember well, the cities of Holice, Opava and Prague were involved. So the outcome of the climate scanning was actually a climate label, which will be on the next slide. But I will now still say that this climate label has 4 quarters. It's divided, and there are, in each quarter, there are indicators from a different point of view. So this is how a climate label looks like. Each part, for example, expositia, it is exposition to the effects of climate change. Here, indicators of the type like what is the percentage of paved surfaces in the city, whether there is a river in the vicinity of the city, how much agricultural lands, how much forests are in the vicinity of the city. So it's like kind of evaluating that in the natural landscape, which can be the dangers that cause to the city. The second is the citlivost. It is kind of vulnerability. And in this part, the technical means that are already done in the city, how much they help the city in fighting the effects of climate change. For example, the factors, of course, they contribute to the final value of the indicator. Pripravenosť, this means preparedness, that how ready is the local government to implement new measures for against climate change. And emissions, it's here every kind of waste is considered: energy consumption, wastewater, and municipal waste. And in all quarters, the indicators can have a different value. They can be bad, like the red parts. From orange, it's getting better, yellow even better, and the two good, like highest resistance is the yellow, the green colors, the light green and the dark green. It might sound a bit difficult, but you can get an overall number of all these indicators. I will skip that, but it will be in the presentation. This is the type of indicators in each quarter. This is now, I skipped to the third objective. Within this project, they create a kind of catalog of adaptation and possible mitigation measures, and some of them were also implemented. There were two types. Some of them were constructional, which included like installations and modern technology like solar photovoltaic and this stuff. Also controlled ventilation, and I especially like the permeable parking lots. And here on the other picture, you see controlled ventilation project in one of the schools. In this project, there were, in the municipality suburb, there were two buildings that were really thoroughly reconstructed within this project, and were equipped with almost all environmentally friendly technologies that could fit in the budget. And of course, there were green activities, green roofs on these schools, on these two schools, and on the municipality building, green facade, rainwater collection, and wetland spot, which was, this third picture. It was interesting because it was the kind of ending or beginning of the controlled ventilation system of the school. So actually the wet outside air was sucked into this controlled ventilation from a nice wetland. So even better than from a really rushy street. Of course, part of the mitigation activities were also education. So an environmental information center was also built and provided activities, and little projects were implemented throughout in many places of this suburb. Some of them included also children. So children were taking part in small environmental kind of creating activities. So they built bee hotels so this small stuff. So through this way, the public was involved by the children in direct project activities, and the public was involved in the planning process. Here you can see some of the revitalization activities that took place in different places of this suburb. This middle is it was a kind of brown field. It was a slope which was turned into an urban meadow. This is the information center on the right. So just a few details. I especially liked this ClimaScan tool in this project, because in this way I can imagine many other forthcoming projects can use this tool and implement many more activities for climate change, and they will be able somehow to monitor their progress and also compare themselves to other cities, V4 or other states. So that was my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Valeria. I noticed that this ClimaScan tool is not yet available in Hungarian, and I also noticed that it was funded by a LIFE project, I think in the previous cycle. So maybe it would be interesting to localize this tool to Hungarian as well, because they have now 3 languages, English, Slovakian, and Czech. So it could be a next step. Do you happen to know anybody in the project? Just a short question.
Yes, I know the organization that was coordinating this environmental part, so the revitalization part and the public small environmental activities with the local inhabitants. I know this organization. I have a classmate from university there.
Oh, that's the best. Okay, thank you. Well, maybe it's a potential for partnering and networking further. Well, today we are going to finish our journey in Hungary. And I ask Christian, my fellow member of the Presidential Board of Urban Development Association, to share your screen and tell us about a village as well here in Hungary, with the presentation title of Energy Independence at Settlement Level. Christian, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, and thank you for the warm welcome greeting words. And first, I would like to apologize for my painful facial expressions, because something similar happened to me than like Marcel, but I had a nerve spinal back pain resulted unaware movement. So, but I can use my words, so that's my fortune in this situation. And Marcel is also set the bar high with that village, because my presentation will teach about something similar, but in one dimension larger, but still a small village dimension. And let me share my screen. Yes, everybody can see the presentation. Okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, it's visible. So first of all, I would like to set some terms, because when we are talking about autonomy, sovereignty, and independence, I try to figure out how these terms follow from each by each. So first, autonomy in my meanings is an opportunity for self-determination. Sovereignty is the ability for the self-determination, and the result is independence, which means resilience, or key factors for resilience. When I took a bigger picture, how it connects to this topic, which traits are the most relevant for these energy independence projects. I found 2, 3. One is war, which affects sometimes directly. This is the worst case scenario when an attack and damage to national and regional energy infrastructure elements damages the electricity supply or gas supply. But a more common consequence is the increase in the price of energy carriers, and that's why energy independence can resilience ability against these higher prices. The climate change also can affect these threats, because the less predictable energy consumption also an economic threat for the villages and cities. And the higher volatility in the price of energy carriers economical dramatically the city budgets. So it is also a good approach against these threats. And now, as we turn on, I'm not stopping too long on this slide because all know the energy-related consequences of the war in Ukraine. But one key factor was that although country governments compensated household consumers in different ways and in a different extent, more specifically the groups of in the need, but the municipalities were out of this scope in the beginning, and only after 1 year they got some compensation for their higher costs. So that's why this settlement level energy sovereignty is a key factor in resilience against these threats. Let me tell you a few words about Ceures, because this was a pioneer of the energy independence in Hungary, this settlement. Ceures is not too far from our capital, Budapest, still in Pest county, but in the southeast part of it, on the Great Hungarian Plain. Ceures is also a relatively small village, and relatively new. It was founded in 1950 and got its name from its plum trees. It was separated from another two village and started officially its life in 1950. And the population is about below 3,000 people, 2,800, but partly because of these values which will be presented, and the services and the life in this village, the population slowly increases. So it's a unique virtue. Then a few pictures about the village. So as you can see, it's a nice, tidy rural landscape around here. And why Ceures calls themselves the eco village? This is their self-definition, because they started relatively early in the past 30 years. And they were in its region the first innovative waste management in the region, and also they started early the eco-conscious education in the kindergarten and the school. But what we are talking about now is the utilization of green energies and the strategic energy independence. The key elements of this independence is the country's first solar power plant, which I will represent you in a few slides. The direct solar panels in public institutions, it's far common measure by now, but they were pioneers in this field as well. The geothermal heat pump heating of the public institutions and municipality buildings, and the self-sustaining swimming pool, which I think that's a unique development of the city. Also, I have to include in this list the previously mentioned education and also the self-produced food, but I will not go in details. And some words about the future plans also will be included. And I must mention the man beyond these visions, Dr. Csaba Petrányi, because he is a key man. He is the mayor of the village since 2002, and without him this wouldn't be possible, because his strategic way of forward looking made it possible that these results can be done. Now we are representing. So this is the aerial view of the Visegrad solar power plant. It was in many fields a unique investment in Hungary. One was that it was the largest built in Hungary up to that point. So it was built in 2011, and it also contained rotating solar panel systems, which are usually the performance is 1/3 higher than the similar sized non-solar tracking power plants. I will tell you some words about the experiences of this technology, because it's not straightforward that it's worth or not worth against the conventional system, but I will show you later. A few words about how much it was cost. One part was the village own budget, but the major part was from Hungarian state and European Union funding. And the investment will reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 450 tons per year. When they were designing this solar power plant, the initiative was to cover the entire electricity needs of local government institutions in Visegrad. So they were targeting the zero balance. That means that they could produce as much energy as they consume. Of course, they are not working in off-grid mode, but they are selling the electricity which is produced in the solar power plant, and they are buying the electricity from the grid. So they made a year-by-year settlement with the electricity provider, and that was the original target to reach a 0% goal. So, but later I tell you a few words about it. And when I was talking to the mayor and was asking him about the experiences, he told me that he wouldn't recommend this turning sunflower type of solar power plant, but he recommends the traditional non-sun tracking system, because the higher maintenance costs of this equipment are in part with the higher efficiency. So it's not really worth taking into consideration that it needs more human work. The other, which I only show in one slide, because it's now we can say quite conventional, the solar panels and solar collectors for the direct electricity supply for municipality buildings. But the second very interesting project is the utilization of geothermal energy. Some of us are thinking about this, that somebody is drilling a hole, and automatically there are thermal waters can be produced, but it's not the case in Visegrad, because the temperature is only 33 Celsius. So it's in itself it's not sufficient for heating. So first they has to use thermal exchangers and heat pumps, which use electricity. But only the smaller amount of electricity producing a greater heating capacity through these heat exchangers. So that's how they built up a heating circuit which runs along the village. and it starts at the heat well and ends at the waterworks on an insulated line, and in the meantime they are heating the municipality buildings. And the key issue why it ends at the waterworks, because there is an additional cost saving, and they use heating water as drinking water after chemical neutralization and disinfection. And they only need to pump back the amount of water that the municipal water network cannot consume. Because in this case, there is no need to pump back the water underground, which will be another additional cost and energy. And now we are turning to the third very unique investment. This is the self-sustaining swimming pool, because it also using an on-drilled well for the water supply and thermal water heating for the swimming pool. It also has 4 times 50 kilowatt solar panels, which provide the necessary energy for the heat pumps and heat exchangers. But with this capacity, it could also operate in island mode, so off-grid mode, independently from the grid. But one thing which were very impressive for me, that this swimming pool is not only energetically self-sustaining, but ecologically as well, because with these operation costs, they could operate it economically independently. Only a very small amount needed year by year from the municipality, and it also includes the salary of the staff, the management, the workers, the crew. And also a few words about how they handle this in a complex strategic approach. This one is the ecocentric education, which goes from the almost from the nursery, of course, from the kindergarten to the school. They give informations for the children about these energy resources and how the city uses them also. And they have another interesting project, which is self-produced food and fruit juice, which also municipality owned little processing plant. And that's how they can supply the municipality institutions like schools, kindergartens, home for the elderly. And only a few words about the future. They already have intelligent sun powered, solar powered heat lighting, but they are put it forward to a next level with intelligent system, which is if there's a brighter night, doesn't use as much energy than the conventional systems. It has sensors and they measure and react to the given light conditions. And their future plan is to set up an energy community in the village, which will contract into a virtual network of local residents, energy traders, and municipality power plants. But local residents will join later. So now the plan is for 2024 is to make the contract with the energy trader and the municipality power plants. and then later other participants can join to the system. And if they finish this project, then by the end they can say that the city or the village, better say, 100% independent from electric and heating, so energetic. So thank you for your attention, and I'm waiting for the questions that are in the session.
Thank you, Christian, and I wish you get well soon. It seems that this start of the year is difficult for a lot of people right now, and I wouldn't ask you a question, Christian, because this is my neck of the woods. Visegrad is. I grew up not far from there, so I know the village and the mayor as well. I would only make a remark because it was interesting when you talked about the plans for this year to create the energy community here. And I know that the regulation in Hungary, at least theoretically, has changed on the 1st of January. So right now, maybe the legal obstacles have been removed from creating energy communities for industrial actors, maybe for local government as well. Not for the residents, for local government as well. So we have at this Urban Development Association a partner who specializes in these energy grids, energy communities. Maybe I will contact the mayor and we could make a pilot project from it. That's my remark.
Yes, that's why I was mentioning that the citizens may join in later part of this project. So first, for the institutional participants has to contract with these new legal conditions what we were previously mentioned.
Okay, thank you. Now it's the possibility to ask questions to the presenters. So if any of the participants have any questions, please raise your hands with the button, reaction button here, or just write your question in the general chat. Till then, I have some questions and I tell my questions in a row, so you will have time to think about that. So, Marcel, as for your presentation, I would really be interested in hearing a little bit more about the finance part of these results. So, were these results are the results of European Union funding or some national funding from the Czech state? And the donation part has also caught my attention. What was the secret to the success? Was it a good mayor with a lot of lobbying activity, or what do you know about that? Eva, as for your presentation, I would like to ask the question, what's the relationship between this initiative and the local government? How close is the cooperation? And Valeria, as for the Klimascan, I think it's a methodology challenge to use this tool in different kinds of countries and towns and cities, because you know the source of the data for the indicators are different. How can we overcome this methodology challenge? What do you think? Because there are a lot of indicators and you know each country collects the data in their own way. So if you have answer for that, that's okay. But if you don't, that's not a problem. So just let me check the general chat. Okay. Marcel, please.
Now,
Floor is
regarding the finances, as I have presented the ideas that this village is full of various projects, it goes without saying that the financing is also from various projects. It's both European Union projects, also Ministry of Agriculture, and the third pillar would be these corporations. I have just been thinking about why this particular village, why this particular region. Is there anything specific? I would say it's very much about people. I have an example of two villages nearby my location. In one village, they are planning to build a concrete car park in front of the school because many children commute, I mean students, high school students commute by car. There is another village on the other side of my town, and they are planning to plant trees and establish a new orchard of fruit trees. It's only about people. It's only, we have money, we have a certain volume of money. We can either create large blocks of concrete and such as, Tesco's and Lidl's and all these places, because one Lidl is not enough. We must have like one Tesco, one Lidl, one Billa next to each other, because potatoes are very different when you buy them in Tesco or Lidl. I'm ironic because it's crazy what we are doing now. So it's very much about people. It's very, very much about local governments. If they want to get money, I feel and I know that they can get the money. And they can either get the money for concrete parking lots and for industrial areas, or they can invest money in something more valuable for local communities, such as orchards, beehives, and these things, which are considered by, unfortunately, by the majority of our community as stupidities and total nonsense. So hopefully it's enough for your question. We have financing. Money is available from various sources, and it only depends on the people. If they feel that this money is available, and if this money should be invested in something that is beneficial not only to urban resilience, but also to the resilience of ordinary citizens, like our well-being. Thank you very much. Sorry for my voice, but I'm struggling too much.
Thank you for the bearing with us. And I think you made remarkable thoughts about people, that it depends only on people. And that's something we usually talk about with Christian, that the community, the people are the backbone of settlements, not the infrastructure. So, Eva, what could you tell us about the relationship in between this initiative and the local government? And maybe you have some reaction to Marcel as well. So please feel free to do it. You're muted now.
Yes. Well, in fact, I found a document. This is a 2022 document about additional funds ascribed to the task, which is called public task, which is called let's say, under the general topic ecology and protection of animals or fauna, as well as natural heritage for the year 2022. But basically, I think this this is also cyclical, and it says that the Łomża scuba diving club underwater deer has received additional funds, not much, I would say, but 3,200 zlotys of additional money for the realization of that public task or of that project. So, so to say, I think that the city can be treated as an let's say additional co-funder, right? But is not the organizer. Right, so they did apply, and they do apply for extra money as an NGO, because the general framework is about the cooperation between the municipal the municipal government and the and non-governmental organizations, as well as other ones that, let's say, that apply to that category.
Okay, and would you say that the relationship is friendly between the city and the initiative, the divers?
Definitely friendly. Definitely friendly. The city, I would say, supports such initiatives, and this is quite typical for the area because, as I said, northeastern Poland is very close to the Mazuri Lake District, as you know. So this is one of the most protected areas, and then all these other programs, the national parks, the other protected area, the Natura 2000 program, right? So they're aware of the value, of the environmental value of the area, and I would say this is one of the basic directions that the city supports, right? Because this is also part of the city marketing, the place branding, right? So basically, couldn't be couldn't be different.
Okay, thank you. Meanwhile, Gyula has also asked a question in the general chat. This question is for Marcel, but Gyula mentioned that, Marcel, you can answer in the general chat, so it's a multi-channel Q&A session. And Gyula, I definitely think that this initiative Eva talked about could have future in Szeged as well. But you know the locals better than me, whether there are resources, people, divers. Okay. Valeria, please, could you answer the question?
To me was that whether the indicators were chosen the way that other municipalities can use them to. I think when the ClimaScan tool was designed, the authors were thinking of this perspective, but I discovered a file on the internet with the indicators of this specific suburb, Karlova Ves, which was the model area of this project, and I would like to share it to you, and we can examine together these indicators. This is it, okay. So there are 4 quarters. We remember, so this is probably the one, the exposition. When you look at, I'm not sure, how can I move it? Okay. When you look at the criteria indicators, I think they are relatively easy to define. So this is like how the landscape looks like in the city and outside of the city. I think most of the municipalities manage.
Okay.
Then also there are different types of indicator. This is still the exposure. But when you look at this indicator, it looks, well, a bit more complicated.
Okay. Okay, I wouldn't ask you to go into details, so don't worry. I would like to ask you though to upload this next to your presentation in
Okay.
our joint workshop folder because I would like to have a look at it.
Mhm.
But if you have something to say, please do.
No, just one more sentence that maybe the trick in this is not the difference of the indicators or that the indicators do not fit to another city. The trick is that how you get these exact information, because you have to have a very close cooperation with the Hydrometeorological Institute to get these data, because there are data like how many I don't know, very specific weather conditions data. So if you want to be, well, exact, you have to have this data from a specific institution. And also there are indicators like water losses in your supply system and all this stuff. So the cities have to have a very good monitoring and very comprehensive data of their own functioning. So I think that's the tricky part.
Okay, thank you. Oh, it's an interesting project. Well, at the end of our workshop, our public workshop, I thank you all for participating. Now we are going to talk for a further 15 minutes with the Ceures team in this Zoom meeting. So we thank you, the other participants, for joining us today. Have a nice day. Attila, you can stay here if you would like, because it's something that, of course, is of interest for Pontipus as well. And before we start, I have to ask whether somebody needs a technical break. Okay, Jula needs. So, Jula, 3-4 minutes, is it okay? Okay.
Why not?
Okay, then we meet again in 4 minutes.
Thank you, David. Bye.
Thank you, Adam, for joining us today.